daughter was on a Fulbright, working and studying there. And so the experience of just being in a city again, for me, because I haven't lived in one for many, many years, was very redolent. And in a way, I'd like to just dedicate this to the Syria that was, the civilization that was, the wonderful aspects of it that I got to experience there, most of which this poem is not about. Aloft in a city again, I wake to an imagined sound. Wooden blind cords with their little plastic bells, lifting and slapping gently against the sills in a sturdy breeze. As if I were waking in my childhood bed, stories above the New York streets, windows open to the regions of the upper air, air of laundered freshness, air with the sea in it. Here, halfway around the world in dusty Damascus, where green glints of minarets stipple the night sky, I am awakening to thin white drapes which inhale, fill with light, and exhale the still cool air. Sorry, lost the place. Which billow over open roof patio doors, subside, my ears tranced by the after vibration of the muezzin's call, the clear tinkling of a few morning dishes. I am blanketed again in sums of rich privacies, theirs whose tea steeps in a large jar on an adjacent roof, theirs who grow mint and cumin in small pots on a ledge, while I lounge deliciously in the privacy of my own quiet body, the white billowing drapes inhaling, filling with light, sailing me through all my morning cities. There's something about living in a place where you are surrounded sort of by other cells in a beehive. I recently reconnected with a friend whom I haven't seen since she was 12 years old, who lived up the street from me in the Bronx, and we were reminiscing about that curious feeling which we both loved as children, of being surrounded by other private lives right next to you, and yet you didn't necessarily know them deeply. This next poem mentions two cities I've been in, and two I am imagining pretty much. I know we have someone from Cairo here, so Cairo is a participant in this poem. And I should say, I mentioned the cities of the dead, which are vast cemeteries on the outskirts of Cairo. And the very poor sometimes take refuge in these cemeteries without power, without water. And I should say as well, this is just from a very little bit of experience of the city, that there seem to be squatters who live on the rooftops of tall buildings. I mentioned these in the poem. And just to avoid confusion, I'll gloss the term koshery, which I assume I am pronouncing mostly correctly. It's a favorite Egyptian dish of lentils, pasta, rice, chickpeas, tomato sauce. So, this is called time zone, and all these cities are in the same time zone. 7:59 p.m. A woman in a Cairo room with 15-foot decaying ceilings of colonial splendor gazes out her window at the neighboring rooftop squatters, and in the distant cities of the dead, cities of the living, a lump of flesh in black robes grayed by dust scuttles from cenotaph to cenotaph. In Bucharest's blue dusk lingering, a queue quietly forms for bread before a milky white-lit bakery, shadowed by the black behemoth of a cement slab hotel. In rain-smudged Istanbul, someone weeps into linens smelling like damp dust. In smoggy Athens, near the Agora, a gypsy child hangs on a tourist's hand. And here and there, beyond the glistening districts, a little more ancient soot, soft as fur, gathers on windowsills against chipped facades. Tattered laundry, my mistake, let me repeat that. A little more ancient soot, soft as fur, gathers on windowsills, on crumbling steps. Tattered laundry stiffens a little more against chipped facades, and the solitary comers and goers turn down narrow streets on an eternal circuit, from the newsstand to the market, a half-liter milk to chill in the rusty refrigerator as long as there's power, an apple and pear for the bowl in the dark, tiny kitchen, yellow shades drawn against summer. 8:01, and the woman lifts her gaze from the window. The black-robed form unwraps a bowl of koshery. The queue grows longer by 3. The weeper gets up from her bed. The tourist shrugs the gypsy off. Now ghosts of all who've ever come to evening under roofs or in the open air in the cities of this time zone gather. In my own room, some press against my shoulder, trying to scan the news of dearth and deluge. Some watch juice drip from the knife that peels the pear. Those last lines echo a haiku coming after Charlie. I thought I'd mention that. A California landscape poem. The Santa Anas are fierce. I think another poet called them blistering winds. It's true. That blow in Southern California, but occasionally they blow from a different direction and are cooler. This poem is called Cool Santa Anas. Whole days made up of intensities of light, as if the rays that pierce clouds in Baroque paintings were gathered in multiple sheaves and fanned out, melting into that cloudless, profound blue that beams, I am purity incarnate, and an excitement as if a revelation about to come in the basking honeyed warmth, lifted and swept away by currents of chill, then set down again. Tumbleweeds bounce up like girls playing hopscotch, leaf crumble, small twigs scurry back on the sidewalk like water sucked into the ocean before the next wave, and then quiet. And isn't that what we need? A perfection of contentment edged by violent change, change edged by contentment, never to be grounded as the body grounds itself to a drug which then loses its rush. Over and over again, to be removed from and return to our illusions, that if only we could stop doing what we must do now, stop shunning what we once did, leave home, come home, burn home, build home, we would arrive at happiness. Leaf litter lull on the lawn, then cottonwood gold gyring like wheat tossed in the air, revealing the sinuous wind. I see I have very little time left, so let me leap to the last poem, which will take an entirely different tone. Betelgeuse is an enormous red star in the constellation Orion, and kids always get a kick out of the name. Early astronomy. My granddaughter tells me with the charm and certainty of her 5 years that Jupiter is the ice cream planet. If you step on it, you would sink, she recites, passing on the disarming metaphor of her other grandma. Her eyes go dreamy when she envisions Saturn's rings. My turn, snow cone texture. Whoa, she says when we read that Betelgeuse could hold 1 billion of our suns. undwarfed by spaces where no human race is, silences where matter barely whispers, giggling at the name and unafraid. She's on a ride like the flying unicorn, and just thrilled with these new proofs the world was made for delight. Thank you.